Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing, well, I should say this evening, because we already played a couple already today, Foggy Renban Arrow. And it's such a magical arrow that somehow, I'm just noticing this now, that the bow is going through Sleuth himself, and it's shooting magical arrows. So, I'll pass. Now, my kind of attempt of sort of representing Renban's there is the pink kind of handkerchief, scarf around Sleuth. Obviously, the fog and the arrow is well spoken for. Now, just before we take a look at today's puzzle. So this morning's puzzle, I can see, is quite difficult for most of you. Many of you have actually passed or sort of parked it. So what I'm doing here is I'm actually featuring a much more approachable puzzle. This is 1-star difficulty rating. Fog always does extremely well on this channel. It's as if people keep telling me it's their favorite. And give you a bit of time to actually give that second puzzle a go. It is a fantastic puzzle once you figure it out. It's immensely enjoyable. But I would probably hazard it's a 3-star, but not entirely sure. I probably should check what the community has rated it after this. Anyhow, let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule sets with Foggy Renban Arrows by Sir Moose. And we know Sir Moose has created some fantastic puzzles. Just let me have a look. It really is Renban Arrows and Fog. Okay, it's very well named, Sir Moose. Rule-wise, we've got rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and then every 3x3 box. Nothing unusual about this one. Then we have Renban arrows. So digits along each arrow sum to the digit in that arrow's circle. Additionally, digits along each arrow, not including the arrow circle, contain a consecutive sequence of digits with no repeats. Arrows do not cross and may end/begin in the same cell. Okay, fair enough. So, the do not cross part I think is kind of useful if you're playing Fog as we are today. So I'm going to take a look at these two cells. So essentially, I obviously don't know where this is going, but these two cells have to be a Renban. So if I have a 1, for example, on here, this would have to be a 2. And then essentially we're saying that the sum of this, assuming that this is indeed a magenta circle, is a 3. Because essentially these two cells add up to 3, and that's what the answer would be. There's, of course, a few different ways of doing this. If this was a 2, this would be 1 or 3, so they have to be consecutive. There are no repeats. Admittedly, the arrows could be in, they can cross different boxes. It could have been a diagonal. So obviously, under normal Sudoku rules, I'm sure we can come up with an arrow that can have repeat digits, but it can't if it's a Renban. It has to be a consecutive set of digits. If I put 2 and 4 in here, they're no longer consecutive. I have broken it. Right. What else do we know? So some of the grid is covered in fog. Placing a correct digit will clear the fog around that digit, and no guessing is required. So clearly, we can see very little of the grid. It's all covered in grey. If that cell was indeed a 2, all of the surrounding cells, any in particular that are covered in fog, will be revealed and hopefully gives us a bit more information on where to go next. So that's all the rules we have for today. And despite walking you through this, I'm still not entirely sure I know how I'm going to break this in. So it'll be an interesting few minutes, which you can skip because you want to play along with the link in the description down below. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. So essentially, I know that this arrow must end in here because it's a Renban arrow, and if I have 4 cells, then 1, 2, 3, 4 is the minimum. They would add up to 10. At least on the rules, we haven't been told that the arrow circle can contain more than 2 digits. So I'm fairly confident that this is this is a circle attached to this arrow. And that these two cells, this cell in particular, is either 6 or 9. Because my options in here are either 1, 2, 3, that's one set of consecutive digits, or it's 2, 3, 4. That's another set of consecutive digits. And obviously, whichever set I pick, it's either going to be 6 or it's going to be 9. Now, the one thing that I do know is that 2 and 3 are definitely on here. Regardless of this is 1, 2, 3 or not, I cannot have a 1 on here because the next digit that would be available would be 1 and 4 or even 1 and 5, assuming that this is 2, 3, 4. So the 1 absolutely doesn't work because, 2 is already taken. So where I'm going with this is I think this is 4. So I think this is 4, 5, this is a 9, and this has to be 1, 2, 3. Because if I went for 2, 3, 4, well, this would be 5, 6 minimum, and then that would be too big. 1, 2, 3 in here gives me a 6 in there, and gives me a 9 in here for the 4, 5, and we have our break-in. I kind of forgot about the Renban, when I was saying I wasn't sure about the break-in. I forgot about the fact that I couldn't use the 1 on here because the 2 and 3 are there. Anyhow, I can see already another 3-cell arrow. So these are once again very similar logic to what we went through. They're 1, 2, 3, 4 with 2 or 3, and this would have to be 6 or 9. But again, we're not entirely sure what they are. Don't know what this is. Interesting. Okay. 9 is none of these. 9 is in one of these. It's not very useful. I'm actually not sure where to go next. 4, 5 means that's not a 4. You see, 9 is not any of these cells because of Sudoku. It's also not this cell. This clearly can't be the circle. Otherwise, it would be whatever this digit is and breaking Sudoku rules. So this is at least 2 cells on the arrow. And none of these are 9. But I mean, what is going on? I don't know if this is a circle or not. So I don't know if this is 2 cells or 1 cell. Right, okay. Same logic. In here, same logic as box 2. In here, if this is 2, 3, 4, what are the 2 cells on this arrow? And if I put 1, 2, 3, this would be 4, 5. If I put 2, 3, 4, well, I'd have a 4, and then I couldn't use the 1 because there's no way I'd be able to make it consecutive. So I think this has to be 4, 5 once again. You can see that the arrow could turn either this side or turn down. And obviously can't be in here because of the 9. So that's a 9. That's another 4, 5 pair. And this is, again, I took out the wrong digit. This is, again, 1, 2, 3. And this is, again, a 6. You can see 6 is starting to become very limited about where it can go. Nine is none of these cells. 9 is one of these 2. Obviously can never be on an arrow as long as the circle is only 1 digit or 1 cell. This is almost certainly a circle, but I mean, admittedly, it can do something silly like 1, 2, 3 and then turn into this cell, and this could be a 6. So 4 and 5 not here. 4 and 5 are in one of these 3 cells. I can't do much more than that. 4 and 5, okay. Admittedly, this arrow is going off into the ether, so to speak. However, this cell is at least a 4. Admittedly, I could do something like 4 and 3 in here with a 7, but because of the fact that it's consecutive, this is at least 7, 8, or 9. I mean, I was almost tempted to say this has to be 4, 5, and this has to be 9. I don't think that's true, actually. But you can see with the 1, 2, 3 gone and the 6 gone, I imagine that any other digit would be too big because the next one along would be 7. And then if I add another cell, even if it's 6, minimizing, that's 13. So this is 4 or 5. If it's 5, this is 4. So this is 4, and this is 9. If it's 4, of course I could have a 5, or I could have a 3. I can't actually have an 8. Yep. Let's have a think. What else? So notice that the 4s and 5s are not here. One of them is in there, we've just proven, and the second one is in here. So if this is 5, the 4 is there, and this can't be 4. So I'm thinking this can never be 4, 5. This is 3. And therefore this would have to be 4 to be consecutive, and this has to be 7. And then the 5 is in here. I just want to walk through this one more time. It felt like I went a bit fast. Essentially, I'm just going to color these for a second just to illustrate the point. Let's go with, I don't know, purple and blue. It doesn't matter which one is which right now. But let's say this is blue. Purple, because of Sudoku, is now in here. Blue can't repeat on the Renban, and it can't be purple. So it can't be the blue 4-5, or the purple 4-5. So that can never be 4-5. And because it's still a Renban, this would have to be a 4, unless, of course, this arrow doesn't end, and there's another 2, in which case I'd be fine. But I mean, 3 would mean these are not 3s, and this is definitely a 3. I may as well just, like, I mean, it's, if it's 4, no. I could do 4, 2, and then another 3 somewhere. So this is 2 or 3, actually. But regardless, I'm pretty sure this can't be 5. Because if it's 5, this would have to be 4, and we've proven that it isn't. And obviously, it can't be more than 2 cells at that point. 4-3 with the 2, unfortunately, work, and 4-2 with the 3 also works. There's nothing about the order of these cells. Regardless, this is 7 or 9. And this has to be 4. And this ends here, so it has to be 3. And therefore this is 7, and therefore this is 9, finally. And then that gives me another 9 at the top. And this is 7 or 8. And these are 5, 8. And you see, that one did actually loop around. And because it's not 2, 3, 4, it has to be 1, 2, 3 with a 6. And these 2 cells, well, the 7 can only go in here now with Sudoku, and this is an 8. It's a fantastic puzzle, as always, from cirlce. I mean, at times, you could make an assumption. Often what I do, and I don't exhaust all the options, and then you guys point out that I took a bit of a shortcut and missed some fabulous logic. And I'm being very deliberate, very careful not to miss some. But what a fantastic puzzle right now. It's just the right kind of level of challenge. So 9 can't be on the arrow. It's one of these 2 cells. I mean, I'm kind of not sure if I'm meant to be doing Sudoku or something else at this point. So let's think about what is going on here. And these 3 cells can't be 1, 2, 3, because that would be a 6 and it would break. The alternative is, of course, 2, 3, 4, and this is a 9. Now, this can't be a 4. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. There has to be a 1 in here. That's not a 1. That's a 2, 3 pair. This is 1, 5. This is 2, 3, 4 with a definite 4. I mean, we kind of knew that. And then this cell is just known. It's a 7. These 2 now to complete this are 8 and 9, I'm going to say. There's an odd-looking arrow in here. And there as well. I don't know why suddenly I'm seeing purple arrows and then black outlines on top of them as well. Let's not worry about it. To be fair, I was really. Not 3s. One of these is a 3. Right, so I was just thinking about what is this column. So we may as well just think about it. So there's another 6, 7, 8. Then there's another 7, 8. Plus a 4. So one of these 2 cells is 4. If this is 4, that would be 5. That would be 9. Quite likely even, because 9 is in one of these 2 cells. just Sudoku. And without the 3, that is interesting. Because I've got 2 cells, I mean, I couldn't do 1, 2 because that would repeat the 3. Can't do 2, 3, can't do 3, 4. It has to be 4, 5. And we'll figure out what this is. We know it's not 4, 5 because that can't be 9. But it's 2 cells. So here's another trick that I've been ignoring. The fact that it's 2 cells, they have to be consecutive. So one will be even, one will be odd. So this is 7, which is, because it's not 9, it's not 5, or a minimum of 3. I can't go any lower than 3, of course. 1 doesn't work. So this is either 1, 2, or 3, 4. And the 1, 2 are not really restricted at all. The 3, 4, because of this, that would be 4, that would be 3. Not very useful, if I'm honest. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So there's another 1, 2, 3 in here. I say another 1, 2, so it's not 3. Plus something else, a 6, I believe. Can't have a 6 on a 2-cell arrow because the next one along, even if it's 5, is 11. So that has to be 6. This has to be 1, 2, and this is 1, 2, or 3. I obviously don't know what this is. If it's 1, that's 2. If it's 2, this could be 1 or 3. So this is, hang on, remember again the logic. It has to be 1 even and 1 odd. So this is a maximum of 5 with 2, 3, or it's a minimum of 3 with 1, 2. And I'm not sure I can rule this out either way just yet. Now, to get to 5, this would have to be 3. And there was never a 3 in here. Come on, Sleuth, 7. And therefore, this has to be 4, 3. And therefore, this is not 3. This is 1, 2 pair. So that is a 3. Right. Kind of giving myself extra work here. Can't have a 7 in here, so that's a 7. This is 6, 8. There's another 1, 2, 3. I say 1, 2, 3. It is just 1, 2 with an 8. And I'm not sure I can actually place any of them just yet. 3 cells, and it's not 4. So this has to be 1, 2. This has to be a 9. Ho, 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 ho. What's going on here? Because that's a 4. What just happened? What? Sorry, I can't do maths. 1 and 2 with a 6. That's what happened. And then 6 is in one of these 2 cells. It can't be on here on a 2-cell arrow. So that's the 6. This 2, 3. Technically, there's a whole bunch of options of 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the maximum does include a 7, but essentially I can actually technically get away with, well, not 3 anymore, but I can do 5 or 7. So there has to be a 3 in here. And it's either 3, 4 or 2, 3. No 1s. Definite 3 means that's not a 3. That's about it, though. 2, 3 could be either way, can't it? And then that would be 1. Yeah, that's fine. Hang on. That is not a 3 because of this 3. So if this is 2, that's 3, and then that's 5. If this is 2, well, it's not joining anything. That's definitely a 3. And this is still 2 or 4. Interesting. That 3 bounces across to give me a 2 and a 3, 4 pair. And that 4 at the bottom resolves this 3, 4. It's probably an easy resolution. Remember, these are different. So one of them is a 2, and it both look at this cell. So that has to be a 4, and therefore this has to be a 7. That 4 gave me a 5 and a 4 up there. I'm pretty sure I can sort of tidy up down here and kind of finish this, but I'm sort of half tempted to look up and find another challenge, but I'm not sure the completionist in me will allow me to do this. So these 2 cells are the same. Yeah, so essentially this 1, 2, and this 1, 2, they're the same one. I don't know where they go. You can use coloring to sort of show which 1s and 2s are the same. It's not probably not necessary, but well, what's the other thing that I have? I have another 1, 2, then a 5 and an 8. So this is 5 or 8. And yeah, this is 1, 2, 8, and this is 1, 2, 5. It does give me essentially a virtual pair of 1, 2, and this would have to be 5 or 8, and it's not 5. That's 8. This is not 8. That's the other 1, 2. Therefore, that's the 5, and that's the 8. Excellent. And then these two cells are known. This is a 7. This is a 5. 1, 5. Yeah, no need for coloring. Would have been fun, though. 2 and 1. Not 2 and not 2. This cell is a 1, so not 1 and not 1. Interestingly, not resolved for the moment. Right, so this arrow we kind of ignored for a fairly long time. Let's see, what are the options in here? 1, 5, 7. Now, 7, because even though this is at least a 2-cell arrow, 7 would put a 6 in here. It's ridiculous. That's gone. 5 would have to have a 4, which is not available. That's also gone. So it can only be 1. And then it looks like this is 2, 3. But admittedly, it can do something funny. Like, let me just try and draw that. Something like that and kind of the circle in here. Admittedly, it wouldn't because this is a 6 down here. So I couldn't put a 6, but I guess I could do 6 there. Anyhow, all I'm saying is there is no guarantee that this is a 2. No, it is a 2 because it can't be 3 and then 4 would be too big. But it did do something funny. So this is a 3 and this is a 6. And therefore that's 8 and that is 6. And that 2 gave me 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, and 2. Fantastic. The 8 and 9s are not resolved. That is now 8, that is 9. They are immediately resolved. That can only be the 9, and this is a 4, which gives me 5, 4. No resolution for the 5s and 7s yet. This is 5 and 4. That's 4, that's 5, that's 7, that's 5. These two cells, we need 6 and 3. So that's the 3, that's the 6. I need a 1. I need an 8. I need a 2. And if I've not made any mistakes, 7 for the finish. It's a lovely puzzle, cirlce. Pretty smooth, highly enjoyable. And I hope that you guys enjoyed it as well. And it, should be reasonably quick for most of you. Gives you time to try and attempt that earlier, much tougher puzzle. Hope to see you guys back soon. Bye-bye for now.